And so what I thought I would do instead is I thought I would do something that I haven't demonstrated for some time, and that has changed a little bit. And so maybe I can kind of help you out with something new. I thought I'd do a demonstration of the correct way to set up Google AdWords for your Amazon business. So that's kind of what I had got planned. Do you want to see that? Oh, a little bit. I just burped then. Oh my God. I just burped. That's hilarious. Do you want to see Google AdWords setting up? I do heaps and heaps and heaps of Google AdWords. And I'd be very, very happy to set that up for you if you want me to set it up and just show you what to do, show you how I do it. Or if you want to do something else, you know, whatever. I don't really mind what we do. I've not really got any plans, so I thought we could just hang out. But I'm happy to hang out and show you Google AdWords as well. Or if you want me to go through and do something else, we can do that. Whatever you want to do, it's fine. Yeah, just take on, yeah, okay. All right, I'm going. I know. You should catch up with me after a few glasses of wine, and then it gets real bad. Or as Natasha calls it, irritating. All right, so let's do some Google AdWords then. Where to start? Well, look, I have got a business I was going to demonstrate this on, but if you want me to just set up Google AdWords, I'll have to do it through my account, which means I can't put it live for you. But if you want to show me your product, I'll do the Google ads for your product. Otherwise, I was going to do it on another person's product. I was going to do it on this one because this looks kind of hard to do, and it's a weird one. So I figured, you know, do a weird one for you rather than an easy one. Anyway, let me know in the chat if you want me to do that. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. So first up, some little bit of background. Google Ads, if you're not already using Google Ads, let me put my webcam on. If you are not already using Google AdWords for your Amazon business, then you absolutely should be. There is a significant amount of search traffic that starts from Google and then from Google goes through to Amazon, especially in countries outside of the USA. In the USA, Amazon, you know, most of the product searches actually begin on Amazon, but outside of the USA, they start Bing, Google, you know, wherever it may be. So you, by not doing it, you actually are really doing yourself a massive disservice, because there's a shitload of free traffic, not free, a shitload of new traffic to be had. And the good thing about Google AdWords, of course, is that you don't need to be ranking on Amazon to take advantage of it, because this is a completely different place where your customer starts their journey. So you get to take advantage of them without actually needing to spend all the money that you'd no need to spend on SEO to get yourself ranking up on Amazon. So it's a really big, interesting thing. The other thing that's really important to mention as well is Amazon's own relationship with Google. So right now, Amazon is the biggest spender of Google AdWords in the world. So I think their ad spend last financial year was like $1.7 billion that they spent globally on Google AdWords, which we can agree is a shitload of money. But old Jeffy can afford that. So Amazon is doing a ton of Google AdWords advertising, and it stands to reason, and we know already that Amazon is incredible at tracking things. And so the only reason they would do Google AdWords to the volume that they are doing Google AdWords is because of the money that ultimately makes them, okay? So that's important. And then the other thing that's really important about Amazon and their relationship with Google is Amazon will reward you for bringing new traffic to the Amazon website. And they will reward you by increasing the amount of search engine ranking juice, for one of a better way of putting it, that they will give you for any sales that you make that originate outside of the Amazon platform. So essentially what that means is, if you bring a new customer to Amazon, Amazon will reward you for that exponentially relative to you making a sale directly through the Amazon platform to one of their existing customers. If you make a sale and you also bring them a new customer, then they will reward you for that exponentially. And so, as part and parcel of any launch strategy, it's really, really important, because Google will send your traffic to Amazon, then Amazon will reward you for that and you'll get a higher ranking. But ongoing as well, you can make a lot of money, a lot of sales, additional sales, by running Google AdWords. And the great thing about Google AdWords relative to Amazon is that your cost per click, so the amount of money you spend to acquire a click on Google, is far, far lower usually than what you would spend on Amazon. Click costs on Amazon, especially on Amazon.com, are through the roof. I mean, it's just insane how expensive it is getting to acquire clicks now through Amazon, especially for those kind of broader search terms rather than the niche search terms. Like, it's just nuts. Getting very, very difficult to make those search terms work on an ongoing basis. Anyway, so that's a little bit of background and why I think it's so important. The other thing to note about Google is a downside to it, and that is the inability for you to track and measure what happens to those people once they actually arrive on Amazon. So typically when we're doing any form of advertising, one of the wonderful things about online marketing is the ability to track and measure results that happen. So on Google, for instance, if you are running Google AdWords, which is what we're on right now, it's what you're looking at, Google AdWords, it's kind of the search network. I'll go through that in a little bit more detail in just a second for you. Then we're able to say, for this specific search term that somebody typed into Google and then found your advert and clicked on it, it cost X amount of dollars to buy the click, and then they went on to purchase the product. Therefore, the amount of money that we spend on that actual product purchase, we know with certainty that we're profitable. And that's a really, really cool thing about Google. You can also do that, of course, with Amazon advertising, and that gives you your what we call ACOS, advertising cost of sale. But what you can't do, and which is really kind of messy right now, well, most of us can't do it. Let me put it that way, and then I'll talk about how you can do it in a second. What you can't do is you cannot create something called attribution. And attribution just means for any sales that are happening, we're able to assign, oh, well, that sale came from Google, and indeed that sale came from this specific search term being put into Google, and then we know the path that resulted in a sale. Okay, so we're not able to do that on Amazon from a Google AdWords ad. And the reason for that is that we're not able to install a little piece of code that Google. Oh my God, that was my phone, just listening in on what I was saying. Bloody hell, that's scary, eh? Where was I? So you're not able to track that through because we're not able to put some code onto the Amazon website that would allow us to track that through properly. So of course, Amazon doesn't allow us to install code because it's not our website, it's Jeff's website. So that's a bit of a problem, just to kind of frame that for you. And so the upside of Google is the ability to acquire clicks and to reach a brand new audience relatively cheaply that most people don't really understand how to get in front of. The downside of Google is you can't create attribution. You can't know with certainty what is working, what isn't working. And so it's kind of you're guessing. I hate guessing, but I know that there are sales being made from my Google, so I keep running them regardless. I just don't know what is making them, which kind of sucks, okay? So with that being said, with that little preamble being said, let's show you how to do it. Where are we? All right, let's start here. So we're going to do this product, unless somebody else has put one in. All right, cool. So I should mention that we can, although it's crap still, I just don't know. Anyway, so if you are brand registered, which by the way, another reason to become brand registered, you can set up what's called lead attribution in your brand registry account. And that will allow you to assign specific links to specific marketing relating activities like Instagram, Facebook, Google AdWords and shit like that, okay? But right now it's still, I don't know, it's okay, better than nothing, but it ain't great. Anyway, enough of that. So let me kind of take you in. I'm going to turn my camera off so I can stop worrying about how my hair looks on camera and instead worry about showing you some good shit. So here we are in Google AdWords. I'm going to assume that that you can figure out how to set up a Google AdWords account. If you can't, just Google that and you'll get to see. It's actually very simple. All you really need is a Gmail account. Well, you don't even need a Gmail account actually, but a Gmail account. And then you just go to ads.google.com and that will get you set up. Typically, you can also, if you search for Google advertising, you'll be able to find a link that enables you to get a discount code when you're starting off, okay? So that's definitely a good little tip for you. All right, here we are in my own Google account. As you can see, I do lots and lots and lots of Google advertising. $13,000 in the last 30 days we spent on Google Ads. You can see that most of my ad campaigns are limited by budget, which means that Google AdWords wants me to spend more money than I'm currently spending. But I don't think I need to spend any more money, so I'm not spending more money. So let us begin. So the easiest way to get started is to first work out what the hell we're going to sell. And oftentimes your product will dictate your search terms that you want to show up for. And if you've done a good job of your product on Amazon, you will already know the top Amazon keywords that are going to work for you. Okay, and it is pretty simple. When you're initially setting up your Google AdWords, you just want to use the keywords on that work on Amazon to also work on Google. Typically, they're the same thing, okay? At this level, they're the same thing. There's other more advanced shit you can do, but at this level, it's the same thing. So this one, for instance, says alkaline spring water or high pH water. Well, alkaline water is probably the main buying keyword just at first blush for this particular product, okay? Let me give you the product URL and then you guys can play along with me and see what you reckon. Send to all. So do you agree? Alkaline water, high pH water, there are buying search terms. I'll show you how to check in just a second. But I reckon that's pretty on the money. Right, a simple way to get some additional feedback. There's two easy ways to get some feedback. Way number one. So we're just going to type in alkaline water. And we just see what comes up. That's the first thing we want to go look at, okay? If we can see similar products to ours coming up, and remember I'm in Portugal here, so I don't get to see what's happening in Australia, not without using my other stuff that I have, my VPNs, but I don't get to see that. But I'm going to make the assumption, if you do that search for alkaline water, I'm hopefully going to see alkaline water in that kind of shape coming up, okay? And then the other thing I go look at, scroll down to the bottom, is, oops, I didn't mean to do that, is I also look for words related to alkaline water here at the bottom. Again, this is all in Portuguese, but don't worry about that. I also look for those words as well, okay? So that's one way I do it. Let's just open up a new window. And then the other thing I look for as well is I just do alkaline. I just have a look what comes up as far as Amazon's concerned for these particular search terms, and I use Amazon's autocomplete to get additional ideas. Oh, that's hilarious. I won't tell you that story. That's a story for a different time. I shouldn't put that out in the real world. But blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I just use the autocomplete to figure out that as well. So alkaline water, for instance, right here, okay? Let's just go on to these particular ones. I could tell you a massive story about these particular guys, but I won't. Anything else we can glean from here? I'm just going to keep that up there. All right, so that's the very easy way of coming up with other search terms, okay? But once you have your Google account set up and you input your credit card, then you get access to more of the Google Ads tools. So if I just go to tools here, and what I want to do is I want to come over to Keyword Planner over there on the left under Planning, Keyword Planner. And now I'm just going to use a very, very simple trick to see if there's any keywords that I can glean from an existing Amazon listing, okay? All right, so get search volumes of a podcast, that's probably the easiest. No, let's go with this one instead. See if that will let us do it. There we go. So discover new keywords, start with a website. And then remember what I've got here. I've got my listing right here. And what I want to do is just make sure I've got some onto that, and I have. And if I just use the URL of the listing as my, that, and make sure I'm only going to use that page, make sure my default set to the country I want to go market in, so Australia. So I've got basically the product details page, and what I'm doing is I'm saying to Google, go check this specific page to see what keywords I should show up for in this particular region, okay? So that's what I'm basically doing with this particular thing I'm doing right now. Get results. Let's see what comes back. All right, so now you're going to get loads and loads of results, okay? And some of these are going to be great search terms for Google, and some of these are going to be great search terms for you. The great search terms for Google are going to be much more broad, not very specific. So best bottled water to drink, that's a great search term for Google, not such a great search term for you. Spring water delivery, well, I might be interested in that because I can actually deliver to them, but you want to go through it and have a look yourself, ionized water, bottled water brands, blah, 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 and go through it and just see which search terms actually really apply, like be super, super restrictive on what you let get through. And I reckon at the most, when you're just starting out, at the most, you would have 10 search terms at the most, okay? So it's like your 10 search terms that are most likely to lead to sales for your product. 10 at the most. So that's one way of doing it. And let's go back here. So another way of doing it, is to, like if we go to the Aqua Love, less said about them, the better, and come over to my 5-star reviews. So you see what I did there? Let me just go do that again for you. I didn't really explain what I was doing. So I'm on their another competitor's website, and I'm just going to go down to ratings. That takes me to here, which is still, it's just a fast way to get there, okay? Takes me down to there. But now if I click on the 5-star reviewers, it actually takes me to a page just for those where all the 5-star reviews are, okay? So then I highlight the entire URL that I'm on. And again, I'm just going to use this to see if I can get some more results. And depending on how many reviews are on that page, this will either work or it won't. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't work. I don't know why, but I think it's because of how many reviews are on the page, okay? So let's just have a bit of a look-see and see. But you get other ways of thinking about your product, because people who are leaving a review, they're leaving their language, they're using their language to describe your product. And that's really what you want. I mean, it's a solid gold strategy for other things as well, but specifically for this, it's a really, really good strategy. But you can also do what I've just done to come up with great ideas for Amazon search terms as well, for instance, okay? Anyway, so alkaline water purchase, blah, 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 the best water. So again, I've got some more things I can go and have a look at. And what I'm doing is I'm going to analyze them, critically analyze them and say, does this search term, if somebody is searching for Aqualove water, which is the brand name, it's a pretty good assessment that they want to buy my product, versus somebody searching for the best water. Well, they could be looking for anything related to water, the best water filter, the best water to go swimming in, the best water to drink with a cup of tea, you know, could be anything. All right, so you've got to be brutal about excluding stuff. Again, 10 is the most. All right, so that's two simple ways to get some great search terms. You also want to look at, as I've said, what's going on with Amazon, and use Amazon's own autocomplete to get ideas, with the knowledge, here's something you may not be aware of, with the knowledge that Amazon ranks those autocomplete words in order of search volume. So alkaline water gets searched for more than alkaline water filter, which gets searched more than alkaline filter jug, blah, 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 okay? So the top one has got the most search volume on Amazon. That's how that function works, just in case you wasn't aware of that. So anyway, let's move on. Let's go to them. Bastards. I didn't really say that, did I? I did say that. They are bastards. So let's go back over here. So now I'm going to come back into here, and I'm going to just come out of here, and I'm going to assume now I've now got my search terms that I'm interested in getting, and I've only got 10 of them. So now I'm going to take my 10 search terms, and I'm going to create a campaign out of them. To do that, I'm just here. I'm going to click on the plus button to create a new campaign. So now Google gives me lots and lots of options now. And look at some of the interesting things I can do, like local store and visits and promotions. That's Google tracking the shit out of you as you're walking around with your phone in your pocket. That's Google just tracking the shit out of you and then sending you an advert when you're in a shop, which is also running those ads. For our purposes though, we typically, as online marketers, we either want sales or we want website traffic. You would use sales if you had something like a Shopify website, or an eBay website where you can put code on the thank you page. What else? Or anything where you can actually put your own code onto a page. Okay, typically that's your own website, Shopify, Wix, whatever it may be. For our purposes, Amazon campaigns, we want this one, website traffic. Next you get, what sort of campaign do you want? So your options are search, which is plain and simple, going to google.com.au, somebody searches for something, Google shows them your advert, all right? We've all seen that happening. Display, which is banner ads. So if you understand what banner ads are, that's your display network. Google Shopping, which is freaking awesome, but unfortunately we cannot use it on Amazon, again, because we can't put that code snippet onto Amazon's website. But if you've got a Shopify store or a Wix store, Google Shopping is awesome. Video, so that's on YouTube. I do a huge amount of YouTube advertising for my products on Amazon, also for the Aussie online entrepreneurs as well. And I mean, it's just crazy good. But that's a different topic for a different day. And then discovery ads, well, these are interesting because what these rely on, give you an example of something. If Google sees somebody on a website that is all about skincare, so right now, Google will have known that I am looking at raw dog food, doesn't know that I'm interested in setting up a raw dog food business. As far as it's concerned, I'm just interested in raw dog food, okay? And so what they'll do is they will start to show me advertisements on YouTube, advertisements on Google search, advertisements on the display network, all related to raw dog food, okay? That's called YouTube, that's called discovery advertising. But for us, what we need at this level is search, okay? And then select the way you'd like to reach your business goal, and now we just need your business website. So it was this one. And so the website URL that you must put together is, let me see if I've got something up that's appropriate for this. So here in the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs members only Facebook group, send to all, you'll find a area called files, which is just over in the more right now. It's in files, just there. And if you go into there and look for Amazon URLs, you'll find all the different sorts of Amazon URLs we use in all sorts of different marketing, okay? For our purposes, for Google AdWords, typically at the beginner phase, you would just simply do a direct link, which is amazon.com or amazon.com.au or .co.uk/DP, and we all know what DP means, followed by your ASIN, okay? So that would be the URL. I'm going to put that in the chat, but as you can see, it's amazon.com.au/DP/ASIN number, all right? That is the URL that you use on Google AdWords to begin with. There's more complex ways of structuring things, but right now, let's stick with all you need to do. Boink. So that goes in there, and then what Amazon's going to do, what Google's going to do, it's going to go and analyze that page for me, and it will now start making suggestions about what search terms to go after. And let's just go up there. Oh, go away. Exit the guide. And also what to put in my advertisement as well, okay? But we're going to ignore all that. Anyway, so now it's giving me two options. It's saying we're going to appear on the search network, which is great. We want that. But it's also saying here, we're going to put you onto the Google Search Partners Network. So what the hell is that? Well, Google Search Partners Network is websites that use the Google search engine to display results. So, for instance, DuckDuckGo uses, hopefully you've heard of DuckDuckGo, it's another search engine, uses the Google search as part and parcel of its own search engine. Yahoo, so yahoo.com.au, that also uses the Google search to do that, okay? So I'm completely happy to leave that checked and to just get the extra search, because it's not like it's crappy search, it's genuine people going to a search engine like Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever it may be and searching for your product, okay? So it's all good, I'm happy to leave that. What you do not want to leave checked is the display network. You don't want to have display network checked. That is an advanced marketing strategy. you can make a lot of money, you can lose a lot of money too if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, so that's how you set that up with those things, parameters. Next, targeting and audience will come next. So what you want in this is you want to just target the people who are in your audience. So in this case, it is Australia. So we're just going to target people in Australia. And now, well, should they be in Australia? That's what that first one is. So that first one is, I'm also going to show this advert to people who are in, gosh, Singapore that might be interested in your product, okay? I'm also going to show people who are in Singapore that possibly are interested in your product. I'm only going to show your advert to people who are in Australia. So clearly, for the most part, for what we do as Amazon entrepreneurs, we just want to have that one checked, okay? And we want to exclude presence, people in your excluded locations, people in a regular, keep it as that. All right, super easy. Language, don't worry about that. Audience. So this is where you could use different audiences to show your advert to. For the most part though, when you're just getting started, you just don't need it. You would set up an audience later on once you've been advertising for a little bit of time and you've had some clicks on your adverts, okay? So typically you don't need to worry about that right now. Your budget, how much should you budget? As much as you can afford is the answer to that, but I'm pretty sure if you started out with 10 to 20 bucks a day, that would be no dramas at all. That would kind of get you where you wanted to be, okay? But clearly, the more you spend on Google AdWords, the greater potential for making more sales you have. Next, bidding. So what should you bid? Well, it's saying here we should focus on conversions. The problem with that is we're not able to monitor when we get a conversion. Therefore, how the hell do we know what's going to work, what's not going to work? So we can't use conversions. So instead, we have to focus on clicks, which is the number of people who click on our adverts. And we're also being offered here to set a maximum cost per click bid, where I can say, well, I have opted to spend up to $10 per day, and I really want to make sure that I'm going to get 10 clicks a day from 10 people searching. Therefore, I'm going to go put in just over $1 a day. How much should you personally do for a cost per click? I don't know. That's going to depend on your product and what the hell you're selling. But a good rule of thumb to get you started is to do $1.02. That's a very simple rule of thumb just to get you started, and then you'll have to monitor it and see how things are going. All right, next, we definitely want to see ad extensions. All right, so here's our ad extensions. So how can I show you them without actually being able to show you them? That's going to be hard to do. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So things like site link extensions, we're definitely going to put in. We're going to add a new site link extension, and we're going to do, for this one, we're going to open up the reviews, and we're going to put in, check out our 1,000 plus 5, check out. There you go. Everything should be capitalized when you're doing our ads. Our 1,000 plus reviews. Oh, you bastard. Check out. You only get so much text you can use. Here's our 1,000 plus reviews. Over 1,000 happy customers. I always do this, okay? So I'm just showing you the things I always do. So if you've got reviews, then you do this. If you don't have reviews, then obviously you can't do that, okay? But if you do have reviews, then you put it in. Over 1,000 happy customers. Join them and get healthy. There you go. I'm making this up as I go along, as you can probably tell, okay? And then is there anything else what we can put into here? If I've got a variation, for instance, so I've got a 6-pack and a 24-pack, well, I'd probably look at doing something like that. I'd probably say available in 6-pack or 24-pack. And then I'd add my URL in for that. Oops. There we go. So, I mean, it's not available, which is a kind of bit of a shitter, but you know, you get the idea. We're not going to really start running these adverts anyway. There you go, something like that. That's enough. Boink. All right, so we've had that. We're going to save and continue. The more of that you can put in, like if you've got a telephone number that you're happy for people to call you on, the more information you can put on your advert, the better, okay? The better. So ad groups. Now let's start putting together our campaign structure. So you have an overall campaign, and then you have ad groups within the campaign. And for me, my preferred way of doing campaigns is to take my 5 or 10 keywords that I'm interested in doing. So let's just suppose our keyword is alkaline water. That's our first keyword. Then that becomes its own separate ad group. And the only thing I put in here is my keywords related to alkaline water, okay? And the way that I structure my campaigns is I do not use, that's called broad match, meaning that that Google will just show it for absolutely anything at all related to alkaline water. You don't want that. Instead, I put in what's called a phrase match, and I also put in exact match. Now I think so exact match means your product will only ever show up for that specific search term that somebody comes in. And a phrase match means if somebody types in best alkaline water or online delivery of alkaline water or is alkaline water healthy, then my advert will show, okay? That's what phrase match means. So that's how I structure those. So I put in alkaline water phrase match and alkaline water exact match. And then if I'm feeling like I really want to uncover some great additional search terms, I also use something called modified broad. So anybody who's a little bit more advanced, this is for you. I also do something called modified broad, which I use for something called keyword discovery. So if you are not advanced, ignore that, what I've just said. If you are advanced, then that's how I do keyword discovery. I use modified broad, so my advert shows for other things, and then I get to see if I've got some traffic on those particular things, okay? Anyway, so that's my ad group. One search term per ad group, set up, usually just phrase match and exact match. Save, and then I'd set up my other ad groups the same way. Get started, no thanks. exit the guide, yes. So my next one would be, what was another search term that I could go after? Somebody give me another one of those search terms. What we said we were going to go after. So we've got alkaline water. What else did we come up with? pH healthy. Thanks for that, Keller. So I'll just do 2 for you, just so you can see, okay? pH healthy, water. Then my search terms would be like that. There's a phrase match. And again, I do it as an exact match. I've got to get my little thingy-bobs from here because my keyboard's having a bit of a moment. All right, is that all making sense? So I've got one campaign, and then every search term I'm interested in doing, I set up with an ad group where I call the name of the ad group the search term. I've got my same place I'm sending everything to, so it's just that URL. And then my only keywords I go after is a phrase match and a exact match. Unless I'm advanced, then I also include modified broad. Okay, save and continue. Holy water. So you'd have 10 ad groups, that's correct. You'd have 10 ad groups if you were going after 10 search terms. 10 ad groups for 10 search terms. If you've only got 5 search terms, you'd have 5 ad groups. All right. Now you put together your advertisement, what's going to show up on Google Ads. And the way I do this, how we're going for time, the way I structure this is I start from my thing here. So this is actually a pretty terrible title. It's actually pretty shit as far as the title goes. So it's not the best example, but typically when you follow our AOE training, your title will be a lot better than that. And so you're able to utilize your title to put together your Google ad, and you should. And you should. So how do you write a good Google advert? You copy your title that you've written for your Amazon listing. The reason you do that is because when somebody clicks through from a Google advert and sees the same text as they just saw in their Google advert right at the top in the title, then they know they're in the right place. It's really, really good. Something my business partner, Matt Duggan, calls ad scent. So these have done a shit job of that, but let's just pretend they've done an awesome job and we'll use their thing, okay? So new 10 alkaline spring water, pH 10, high in electrolytes. And what else have we got? 16-ounce bottle pack. You can see this is terrible because they're talking about an ounce instead of a milliliter. So clearly these people have got, it's an American advert. Anyway, so you just start like that. So you can see how this is getting put together. And then once you've done your title, I move down, sourced from America's Spruce in the Appalachian Valley. I move down into my bullet points and start looking at what I can utilize in my bullet points. Let's see if we can get that in. Source on Purest Springs. Oops. Sourced from America's Purest Springs, the great Appalachian Valley. Any more we can get in here? From underwater caves. That's a good thing, I imagine. Deep below the Earth's surface. Gosh, sounds very, very cool. There you go. Now, so that's kind of how you structure that. Look at all that information we've got on there. Fantastic. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that the first letter of every word is capitalized, including these connecting words. So you do that for everything from underwater caves, capital, capital, capital. That's in all the tests. That's always better. And then your display URL, you put your main search term that you believe is going to give you the best bang for your buck. So for here, it would be alkaline spring water. So let's just see how much of this we can get in. pH water, like that. See how that comes up? Alkaline spring, pH water. Then in my description, what have we got here? What's it come up with? So just as you can see, it's just taken that directly from the listing. You don't want to do that. You want to create your own. And again, I take it from my product details page usually, but they've done a shithouse job of that. Let's see what these guys have got. Again, the Aqualove guys have done a terrible job. Love your mind, alkaline spring water. That could be good. They should have let me do this instead of going with somebody else, those bastards. Hilarious. Dun, dun, dun. There you go. That kind of thing, okay? Now, that is your advert good to go. Now, if you want to do one more thing, the only thing I would suggest you put on here is the price. Now, by putting the price on, what you will do is you will get a lot less people clicking on your links, but the people who do click on your link will already know what the price is, and so price won't be an issue for them. So if you think you've got a product, what is price sensitive marketplace, then put your price somewhere so people can see that's what it is. That's what my product costs, okay? On sale, just $39.95. Okay? If you're not sure, put it in. And that way, anybody clicking, you know for a fact they know the price already. Super, super easy. Okay? Done. And then look, what it's wanting me to do is to do another version of the same and make some other changes. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do like a A/B test for this, not at this particular junction, but a good A/B test is to replicate what we've just done without the price. That's the simplest A/B test to do. So do one with the price on the advert, on the Google ad, and one without the price on the advert. That's a great test to do. And that's it. Super, super easy. One answer I'm going to ask, what's the error it's come up with? Oh, a duplicate value. Okay. So we're shown that already somewhere else, and so it's saying that's already a duplicate value, okay? So we just need to change that for something else, and then it would let us go run that. What else in which? Negatively charged. Ooh, let's put that. So all this information, you can see it's just all, if you've done a good job of your your advert for your product details page, then you've already got all the great information you need to put together your advert. Okay, so it should be all there for you, and that's why spending the time to put together, oh, come on. What is going on? A duplicate value of that. Oh, it's the top one that's duplicate in value. Sorry. It's that one, you idiot, Asher. Oh, that's hilarious. Lovingly Aussie made, that'll do. That's a great thing to have. Aussie made is such a big thing right now. Dunk. There you go. And that's it. So I'm not going to get into why anything else about that, but know this, okay? Know this. If you just set up a Google ad, indeed any marketing whatsoever, and expect it to be awesome immediately, then you are in for a rude awakening. That is not how advertising works. With all advertising, you have to monitor it, fiddle with it, optimize it, play with it, okay, until it becomes good. You don't just get to set things up and forget about them. That's not how things work. But that is how you set everything up, okay? Super, super easy. So it's just saying I should change my targeting to fix that. That's all right. I'm not really particularly worried about that. I would go ahead and run the advert and see what happened before I relied upon Google, who wants to just send me more traffic so I spend more money, okay? I'm not going to put that live because clearly, you know, it's not my product, but I don't really care about that. It's like the same reason I don't really care what Google says that I need to put more money into my ad account. I'm like, no, no, no. I'll be the boss of that. Thank you very much. All right. So there you go. That's it. A complete step-by-step guide to setting up Google AdWords from start to finish for your Amazon business.
Hey, Neil here. Just before you go away, that was a question that I got asked on my regular Monday night Q&A session, which I have with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. So if you're interested in joining us as an Aussie Online Entrepreneurs, then you can click on the link below to find out a lot more about that. And also, as a special thank you for watching this video, I've got a great book that I want to give you for free. It's a current bestseller on Amazon, and it teaches you everything that you would need to know about starting a business here in Australia on Amazon. So you can see that just up there. So if you'd like to get a copy of that for free, then again, just click on the link below and you'll get a copy of that. You'll get taken to a page where you can get a copy of that for absolutely free. Hope you enjoyed that little snippet from one of my Aussie Online Entrepreneur Q&A sessions, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel and also like this video. And if you've got a question that you would like answering, then post it in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it, whether on one of these videos for you or directly in the comments directly below. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on the next of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs Amazon FBA Australia videos. See you soon.